why in the world do we use RX? Coach Barrick here, Equity Podcast, giving you tools to be fit for life. So all of our workouts have a RX option, and what that means is as prescribed, or uh, this is how the workout is meant to be done. So, what very specifically, what does that mean? It is a prescription for the workout. It is how it is meant to be done. So that includes range of motion of the movement, includes the load of the movement, or the distance of the movement, how long you're doing something. So if you're doing an air squat, we need to go through full range of motion. Increase it below top of the knee, stand fully at the top with all of your joints in a straight line, ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders. We need to make sure that we're doing the full load. So if it's a dumbbell snatch, we need to make sure the dumbbell hits both heads on the ground and that it is fully locked out overhead. And we need to make sure that it's so range of motion, and plus we need to do that full weight. So if it's 35 pounds, we need to use the 35-pound dumbbell. And then if we miss ranges of motion, we need to make sure that we redo those reps. So if we're on the 10th air squat, on that 10th rep, we miss the depth, we need to make sure that we can redo that rep and still do the workout as prescribed. Just like if we're doing a triathlon, right? You don't do the triathlon in any order that you want. You have to do it in a very specific order, and you have to do a very specific course. It's not just swim wherever you want. You have to hit this specific course. And if you miss a buoy, you have to go back around the buoy and go back to where it was. Same thing with an air squat. We need to make sure that we hit the full range of motion so that we get that. Same thing. If we run the wrong course or take the wrong path on the bike, that's not doing the same course, and you have to redo that part of the course or you're disqualified. We don't go that far over, but we need to do every rep, load, range of motion, and distance. So if we're running a 400, we need to go to the whole 400 every time. So that's like what it is specifically. Now, why in the world why do we enforce that? Why do we do it? Why is it used? There's a couple reasons. The first one is because it makes the workouts measurable and repeatable. Measurable, if we're going through the same range of motion every single time, we can measure our power output. We can measure how fit we are. And when you can measure something, we can track it and we can see if we're getting better. If we do it the same way every time, if we use the same range of motion every rep, every time we do this workout, we can see us getting better. We can see if we're getting better or not. That's why we have benchmarks, like Fran, thrusters and pull-ups. So we have to squat all the way down. We have to take that bar all the way overhead. If we keep that range of motion the same, if we keep the pull-ups full lock at the bottom, chin over the bar at the top, we do that workout the same way, but we do it faster, we've improved our fitness in that workout. Just like if you do a triathlon, if you do the same exact course one year and you do it the next year again faster, you were fitter that year. But if you do a different course, it's going to be hard to compare apples to apples, right? You do one course somewhere and you do another one somewhere else, even if it's the same distance, the track, the elevation is all going to be different. So we like it because it's measurable. The second thing is repeatable. And that goes on the same thing. You can repeat this over and over again. It lets us go power. We can figure out how fit we are, how much power output we have. We can see our progress. That's what we really like. The second reason is that it creates results. When you have something that's measurable, repeatable, when you focus on range of motion, on having consistent loading, on making sure we're doing full reps, and like if we do miss range of motion, which happens, it doesn't matter what level you are, it will happen, and you go back and redo that, is going to keep you accountable and you're going to start seeing results. When we use full range of motion, we get results. When you're only doing half reps, your shorter reps, you're not going to get that best bang for your buck. You're not going to get those results. So we want to make sure that we're doing that so we can get the results. Like that's the whole reason we're in the gym, is so that we can get those results, so we can live our life. We can have more fun doing all the things that we want to do outside the gym. So by keeping yourself accountable here, you'll be able to do all those things outside the gym. We also like this because it's a litmus test. The RX is what we're kind of shooting towards. Now that might not be your ultimate goal, but it lets us say, hey, we're trying to be fit and healthy for life. And in order to be able to do that, we need to be able to pick up heavy things. We need to be able to climb up and get into weird situations to clean our gutters. We need to be able to carry our kid up the stairs. We need to be able to pick up the dog food. We need to be able to chase the dog down the street or play soccer with our kids. We need to be able to sit on the floor with our grandkids. If we have the capacity to RX a workout or multiple workouts or a certain percentage of workouts, we're probably going to be doing pretty good in our life to do any of those things. It's a litmus test. Is like, hey, can I get to that level? And if I can, I'm probably going to be doing pretty well in my everyday life, because we're balancing weightlifting, strength, gymnastics, moving our body in space, and monostructural, that cardiovascular endurance. We're balancing all of those so we can do anything. This litmus test also shows us areas of opportunity to get better. So for example, if I'm able to RX all these workouts, but every time I can't RX one, or I can't do one as prescribed, it's because it's too heavy, I know I probably have a strength issue. And spending some additional time or focusing on strength can help improve my overall fitness. I have an opportunity to improve my overall fitness. I have all these things are up super high, but my strength is down here. There's an opportunity there. If, I struggle with um, getting into certain positions when I'm working out, and I have a lot of flexibility and mobility issues, and it limits me. So now, because of those flexibility issues, I can't do the full range of motion on a movement, or I can't do the load, not because it's too heavy, just because I can't get into the proper position. Increasing that flexibility, that mobility, focusing on that strength in those positions, it's going to help us be fitter and be able to do all the things that we want to be able to do. So it can give you a chance to show you where you have opportunities to grow. It also gives us a desired stimulus. Hey, based on a general population of the gym, we're looking for this type of stimulus. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later on modifying workouts. Is, hey, this is when we set a standard for a workout, we have a prescription for the workout, we have that. But then on top of that, we also have goals for the workout and a stimulus for the workout. How should this feel? Should this be a interval, like a very high heart rate workout? Should this be a slower pacing workout? Should this be a threshold workout where we're just going up before we redline, but we never quite get there? We just want to keep moving as fast as we can without burning out. How should this workout feel? Should I be able to do 30 wall balls unbroken, or should I be able to split it up into sets of 5? So we have some ideas on, hey, how should this feel and how should we attack it? The last thing on the why is that it's not really a why, but it's not good or bad if you RX or don't RX. It doesn't make you a good or bad person. It doesn't make you better or worse. There is RXing a workout is not your self-worth. It's not you're better because you can RX more workouts or not. It's just something to measure yourself against. And sometimes, it's I don't want to RX any. That's fine, right? I'm always going to keep that weight lighter, and that's okay because we can't get a perfect RX for everybody. It's just a very general litmus test, right? Some people are going to be a little bit above, some people are going to be a little bit below. This is more just kind of the average of what we're looking for. It is not if you can't RX a movement, that is not saying that you are good or bad. Your fitness is good or bad. It's just a place to compare to. Like, hey, wherever the RX is, I'm usually a little bit lighter. I'm going to run a little bit less, and that's okay. That's where you're at. It's now we're going to try and, hey, that's your litmus test now. That's where you're going to be at. And let's try and keep it there and maybe just start working towards a little bit better. That's what we care about most is we want to work towards better. We don't need to be perfect. We don't need to be the best. We just need to work towards better because you're not always going to get better. That will not happen. But you can work towards better. Did I put the effort in order to improve? Did I put the effort? Did I put the focus? Did I actually warm up? Did I focus on the technique? Did I focus on mechanics? Or did I just blow all those things off in the wind and just did whatever, right? Focus on you getting better. All right, last little bit. Last thing is modifying. Everybody's going to modify. It can be up, it can be down, and that's okay. And there's a couple reasons that we're going to modify. The first one is we're going to modify to get the stimulus. Like I said, we're going to give a prescription for the workout, but then also on top of that, we're going to give a stimulus for the workout. Hey, this is what it should feel like. Excuse me. This is what it should feel like. We're doing thrusters and pull-ups. You should be able to do the thrusters in 3 sets. If you have to split it up more than that, it's probably too heavy. Somewhere between 1 and 3 sets. If you're doing or 1 and 3 sets, if you have to do 4 sets in a workout, it's too heavy. So we're going to pull that weight down, right? So we're going to have that in the goals and stimulus. For the pull-ups, you should be able to link 3 pull-ups at a time in order to do the pull-ups. If you can't link 3 at a time, we're gonna want to bring that pull-up down a little bit. Maybe we do 3 singles, and then we're going to switch to some ring rows, right? So we can still work on that skill, but still work on the strength. We're going to want some desired, what should this workout feel like, and what kind of sets we should be going. And once we have that, that can help us get there eventually. So now with the pull-ups, if I'm working on some ring rows or some box pull-ups, that's going to help me build strength so that I can link 3 in the future. If all I can do is link 2, I'm going to burn out too quickly, and I'm just going to be standing around, and we're not going to go fast enough for what we're looking at for that workout. So making sure that we're hitting the stimulus of the workout. The other thing, kind of leaning from that, is we have a different strength or skill level. Hey, just 95-pound thrusters are just really, really, really heavy for me, and I just got to bring that down. Like, I'm going to take like 5 sets to do this. I'm going to adjust. Same thing with the pull-up. Say I can only do 1 pull-up, so I'm going to adjust that. I'm going to do 1 pull-up each round, but I'm going to switch to something else for the rest. Depending on your strength, depending on your skill level, we're going to adjust that workout. Now, all because you can't do 3 pull-ups, that doesn't mean you do no pull-ups. Excuse me. We still want to practice that skill. There's a great example is double unders. Hey, we want to be able to do the 50 double unders in 2 sets. Well, that might be really challenging for you. So maybe instead it's like, hey, what can I do 2 sets of in double unders? All right, well, I'm going to do 2 sets of 10, and then I'm going to finish with some single unders. So I still get that longer, because if I did 2 sets, it'd probably be kind of quick. But if I try to do more than that, I'm just going to be clipping and get really frustrated. I'm going to do 2 sets and then I'll hit some singles. Different skill levels. So adjust for you. And, sometimes we're going to get that wrong, and that's okay. But we learn from that. We work towards better. The last one is we have a specific goal. We have a workout with uh, kipping chest to bar pull ups and kipping handstand push ups and some burpees. Like, yeah, that's cool goal. However, I'm trying to work on my gymnastic strength. I just need to get stronger in my gymnastic movements. Well, instead of doing the kipping movements today, I'm going to focus on doing strict. So instead of doing 15 chest to bar pull ups, I'm going to do 5 strict pull ups. And I'm going to control my descent on the way down. Maybe even do a slight hold at the top, control the descent, get all the way down, just build some strength. And then for the handstand push ups, instead of doing 15 kipping, I'm going to do 5 strict handstand push-ups. Same thing. I'm going to control my descent down, touch, push out of that. I'm going to work on that strength side of things so that I can build that strength so I have more capacity later. Or it's, man, I had the strength. I need to work the technique. So I'm going to focus 15 chest bar pull-ups. I'm really going to focus on doing 3s, but I'm going to focus on keeping a really, really clean technique. Like I can do 6, but those last 2 reps look really squirrely. I can do 3 really good though. I'm gonna do 3, drop, take a little bit more rest than I want to, and then hop up and just focus on that technique. So it depends if you have a specific goal in mind, we can kind of change that workout a little bit. And maybe we don't RX the workout so that we can focus on that. Hey, I want to focus on my pull-ups today. I'm going to focus on those pull-ups, but I'm going to bring the count down on the handstand push-ups from 15 to 10 so I can focus on the pull-ups. But you have to have a very good conversation with yourself. What do you want? What are you working towards? What's my goal? So that is why we have an RX. That is why we do it. I hope this kind of sheds some light into our thinking behind it. If you have any thoughts, if you like it, if you don't like it, how do you use it? Please let me know. If you think this conversation would help somebody else to kind of like, if they're just getting started and they don't really understand the concept, please share it with them. Maybe mention them in the comments below. Let them know. Thank you so much for spending some time with me to add a tool to your toolbox. Our goal is to have more happy, healthy people in the world. And I hope that did that today. Cheers.